Hello everyone in the multiverse and beyond. This is your friend forever, Evan Lefavor. And guess what? Avengers Infinity War is out, and I'm here to bring you the review to end all reviews. The first part is spoiler-free. The second half of the review is going to contain spoilers. We're going to have a discussion that will contain spoilers. And then we are going to discuss what we think is going to happen in the next Avengers movie. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, just watch the first part and I will let you know when we're about to go into spoiler territory. Because you do not want this movie spoiled for you. It's Avengers Infinity War. And let me tell you, this movie could quite possibly be my favorite superhero comic book movie ever created. As a matter of fact, it is one of my favorite movies ever in any genre. Avengers Infinity War transcends the superhero genre and brings it into a new dimension. So, what is so great about Avengers Infinity War? If you love the Avengers, if you love Iron Man, if you love Spider-Man, if you love Doctor Strange, if you love the Guardians of the Galaxy, you are going to love this movie. Because Avengers Infinity War has over 20 main characters from all of your favorite Marvel movies of the past. Most of all your favorite characters return for Avengers Infinity War. And the Russo brothers have done it. I don't know how they've done it, but they have done it. They have managed to do the impossible, to give us a film that has so many of our favorite heroes from so many of our favorite movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and give them all equal representation and make Avengers Infinity War feel like a true sequel to over 18 movies. That's right. Avengers Infinity War is the 19th Marvel Cinematic Universe film. 18 films came before this film, and it is what can be seen as the culmination, the unification of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in this movie. But with that kind of brings us to the one thing that is not great about Infinity War. Infinity War, to me, it is, in my opinion, a 10 out of 10 movie. That's how groundbreaking this movie is. I could watch this movie over and over and over again and still have the same emotional roller coaster as I did the first time I saw it. The laughs still land. The dramatic moments are still dramatic. But the moral of the story is that if there was one thing about this movie that I could complain about, is that in order for you to see it my way, that this is one of the best movies ever made, you have to watch 18 other films before you see Avengers Infinity War. Sure, you might be able to skip Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, you might be able to skip a couple of the Thor movies, you might be able to skip a few movies and still be able to enjoy Infinity War. But just let me tell you, please watch Spider-Man Homecoming, watch Captain America Civil War, watch Avengers 1 and 2, watch Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, watch Doctor Strange, watch these movies, watch Black Panther, watch those movies before you see Avengers Infinity War, and you will have the best experience possible. And I'm telling you, if you want to have the best experience of a comic book superhero adaptation ever, Infinity War is that movie. And no, Infinity War is not a literal translation or adaptation of the comic books bearing the same name. No. There are differentiations between the comic books and the film. But let me tell you, this film is packed with little Easter eggs and nods that will make fans of the comic books really, really excited. But you should be really excited because you should go see Avengers Infinity War. Just make sure to see those other movies first that I named so that you can get the full scope of this movie. Because I would say that this movie is an 11 out of 10, a perfect movie, a great experience. I would say that. But unfortunately, as I've stated before, in order to experience this movie to its fullest extent, you really need to see at least 12 to 18 other movies beforehand. But for those of you who have been along for the ride for the last 8 years, the last 10 years, what am I saying? The last 10 years, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been building movie after movie all the way up until this moment. That is what makes Avengers Infinity War so amazing. And all of your favorite characters get screen time. It feels like a Spider-Man movie. It feels like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. It feels like an Avengers movie. It feels like a Black Panther movie. It feels like these things all together. This movie, the Russo brothers have evoked all of these movies. It feels like a Doctor Strange movie. You understand, it feels like a sequel to all these films. And it is the sum of all its parts. For once, an entertainment experience is the sum of all its parts. This is unheard of, to have a movie sequel that is a direct sequel to 18 other films. An ensemble team-up movie with over 25 main characters and villains. This is unheard of, and it is against the odds that this movie would succeed, and it has succeeded the expectations that I've had for this movie. So that is as spoiler-free as I get. There's a great villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Finally, Thanos is here. And this movie is just as much about Thanos as it is about all the other superheroes you've come to know and love. And yes, it has been a weak point in past Marvel Cinematic Universe movies that the villains have not been that great. But no. Just wait until you meet Thanos. Ooh-wee. So I am not going to give you any idea of what is in this movie. I just wanted to give you my review, because a good review should contain 0 spoilers. The only spoiler in a review should be if the movie is good or not. That's the only spoiler a good reviewer should ever have to reveal in a review. So with that, go see Avengers Infinity War. Will it still be a good movie if you haven't seen the 18 movies that preceded it? That's a good question. It's hard for me to put myself in someone's shoes and just imagine never seeing any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies and going into this one, seeing this one for the first time as my first experience in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I bet it would still be an amazing movie, but it might be a little hard to understand. All right, because while the characters we've grown to know and love are portrayed better than they've ever been portrayed in this film, this film does not go into their backstories. It doesn't catch the audience up to speed if they haven't seen the first 18 movies. That's kind of implied that you have seen these other films to understand and fully enjoy Infinity War. So if you have not watched Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, please see those films before you see Infinity War. If you have not seen Spider-Man Homecoming or Doctor Strange yet, please see those films before you see Infinity War. And watch the Avengers movies, at least the Avengers films, before you see Infinity War. And after all that, go see this movie. And if it's no longer in theaters, go buy it on Blu-ray. Do what you have to do. Buy it on digital HD, whatever floats your boat. Because you have got to see one of the greatest movies ever made. By far, quite possibly the greatest comic book movie ever made. Until Avengers 4. That's a whole other story. We'll see if the fourth one will top Infinity War. But yes, I'm giving Infinity War a 10 out of 10. A perfect score. Go see it. It is amazing. And now it is time for us to delve deeper into what I call spoiler territory. Now, I'm not one to just put spoilers out there for the sake of spoiling the movie. I'm not going to sit here and tell you everything that happens in Avengers Infinity War. I'm just going to have a discussion about the film, and it is going to contain spoilers, okay? So you have been warned. This is important. If you have not seen Infinity War yet, promise me you will not watch the rest of this video until you see this movie. You do not want this movie spoiled for you. So if you have not seen Infinity War, turn the video off now. Now! What are you waiting for? And for all of you who have stayed this long, that have already seen Avengers Infinity War, let's get into this. Let's talk about this landmark film in spoiler territory. Woohoo! Yes. Oh, okay, if you have not clicked the video off now, then you have already seen Avengers Infinity War. So what did I think? What are my thoughts on this amazing movie? This movie to end all movies? Well, I am going to go through. Let's just start by going through every character, every main character that is in this movie, and I will discuss what I thought about their involvement in this film. But why not give a little spoiler review before we get into the details? Holy shit, y'all. Avengers Infinity War blew my fucking mind. It exceeded my expectations. We have a villain, a respectable villain now, finally a good villain in the MCU. Thanos is unheard of. He's the best villain since Darth Vader, okay? But we'll get into all of that. We will get into all of that. So let's talk about the characters within this movie. There's Loki. Loki is in this movie for a very brief point in time. And he's there just in the beginning scene, which picks up right after Thor Ragnarok. So I hope you saw Thor Ragnarok before you saw Infinity War, because it is, Loki, you never know what's going on with Loki. So Loki offers up the Infinity Stone to Thanos. Well, he's trying to trick him at first. But something tells me that perhaps Doctor Strange had contacted Loki in the past and gave him prior knowledge of future events and told him how important it was for Thanos to get his hands on that Infinity Stone that was in the Tesseract. So I think that it wasn't just to save Thor's life. I think Doctor Strange used time travel using the time stone to travel back in time and tell Loki in advance all about what was going to happen and get him on his side and prepared to beat Thanos, to ultimately beat Thanos. But yes, we have seen Loki die before in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but he still had a heart-wrenching demise as Thanos just simply choked the life out of him. So will we see Loki return? Hopefully, we will see this character resurrected in some form or fashion. But if not, I guess it will be a fitting demise. But hell, I would love to see Loki come back and help save the day so he could live to tell another tale. So yes, in the beginning, we see Thanos, of course, kill Loki. Poor Loki. Then there's Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner. One of my favorite superheroes. The Hulk and Bruce Banner are one of my favorite characters. They're one of the greatest cinematic characters of all time. One of the greatest comic book characters of all time. One of the greatest characters of all time in general. I love the epic struggle between Bruce Banner and the Hulk. Between Bruce Banner and his anger. The struggle that lies there is very interesting to me. And to everyone else who enjoys the Hulk. Now, unfortunately, in Avengers Infinity War, it seems like the Hulk has been turned into a bit of a comic relief character. And I'm a little disturbed by that. I'm a little upset by that. I can understand in Thor Ragnarok, I can kind of understand making Hulk the comic relief in certain scenes. It was acceptable with the tone of that film. But it seems as if they've tried to now bring that tone into the Avengers. It's like, hey, Bruce Banner, he's a respectable scientist who deals with very serious anger issues. And to turn him into this comic relief character is kind of disappointing to me. But you know, whatever. And like I said, it's kind of emphasized in this movie by Bruce Banner being turned into an erectile dysfunction joke. Yes, I am not shitting you. They have turned the Hulk and Bruce Banner into a walking, talking erectile dysfunction joke. The whole thing is a play on erectile dysfunction. Guys not being able to get their sexual organs erect. Okay? So, in Infinity War, as you have seen, the Hulk can't fucking Hulk out anymore. He gets beaten by Thanos. And he gets transported to Earth, where he returns to being Bruce Banner. And throughout the rest of the film, the Hulk fucking refuses to come out. And it's all this allegory to erectile dysfunction. It's like, what's going on here, Russo brothers? Why did you turn Hulk into some fucking erectile dysfunction joke? Hopefully, it will be paid off in Avengers 4. Hopefully, they will bring some respect back to this character. And hell, it would even be cool if they did some kind of experiment like in the graphic novel Earth X, where Bruce Banner split himself from the Hulk and ended up, there was a Hulk, this big hulking ape, and a little Bruce Banner. Go read Earth X. It's great. It's a graphic novel. You should pick it up. It's really cool. But other than that, you know, the Hulk is turned into this kind of buffoonish character. He's supposed to be one of the most brilliant scientists around, but he's treated like a clown in this movie. But that's fine. I'm willing to overlook it. I'm willing to overlook this. But it brings me to my point that I'm getting a little sick of the comedy in these Disney movies. You know, they started doing it with Star Wars in Episode 8. They started inserting all these comedy shit and all these jokes. It's like, sure, there were funny moments in Star Wars before, but not blatant jokes. There were no blatant jokes until like Episode 8. They started writing in these blatant jokes. Now, Avengers Infinity War is filled with comedy. Every single character in this movie has a joke. Every one of these characters has a fucking joke that they say during the movie. And most of them land. Sure, most of them get a good laugh from the audience. But look, if you want to make a comedy, make a fucking comedy movie. If you want to have all these jokes, these blatant jokes, make a comedy movie. Like, I can see it in a movie like Deadpool. Have some self-referential humor and jokes in a movie like Deadpool. And it's like, sure, Guardians of the Galaxy, there's a lot of humor there, and that's what makes it so great. And the same with Iron Man and all these characters in the MCU. It makes it great when there's humor involved. But it's almost to the point where it's overkill, where it's like, are you making a superhero action movie, or are you making a comedy here? But I guess, hey, find you a movie that can do both. And Avengers Infinity War is a movie that does both the dramatic and the comedy. Because, I mean, as a filmmaker, you know that comedy is a tool to be used in all different kinds of genres to affect the mood of the viewer. So it's used often in horror films and other films to kind of, after you have a really dramatic moment that is taxing on the viewer, you hit them with a little bit of comedy and humor, and it brings levity to the situation. So that it brings them back up again so that you can hit them with another dramatic note that brings them back down. You know, it's like a roller coaster ride of emotions that is only possible through comedy being added in. But just a little bit of advice, Marvel, don't overdo it with the comedy, right? But keep up the good work. Can't wait to see what happens with Bruce Banner. Because, I mean, yeah, it's cool. Him in the Hulkbuster armor. It's alright. But damn, we wanted to see the Hulk get in there and kick some more ass. And we just didn't get it. We just didn't get it in this movie. But they did start the movie right out with an epic battle between the Hulk and Thanos. Like, what a better way to start this fucking movie than to see the Hulk fucking fighting fist to fist, tooth and nail with Thanos himself. And Thanos just beats the shit out of the Hulk. He punches the Hulk and the Hulk goes, ow! Have you ever seen the Hulk wince in pain before in your life? Well, you see it in this movie. So it was cool when the Hulk was there. But I wish Bruce Banner would be treated with a little more respect. And also, we'll get into this later, but I'm not the biggest fan of Scarlet Witch and Vision's romance. To me, the real romance in the Avengers movies has been between Black Widow and Bruce Banner, the Hulk. Bruce Banner and Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson, her character and his character have this great sexual tension and romance and a love for each other. And it's been building in all these movies, but it doesn't get paid off in this movie. If there was one romance the audience cared about, it was not Vision and Scarlet Witch. It was fucking Black Widow and Bruce Banner. But we didn't get that in this movie. But whatever. Maybe we'll see it go somewhere in the next film. We'll fucking see. We will see. Oh yeah. Doctor fucking Strange. Doctor Strange, he stole this entire movie. Doctor Strange proved why he is one of my favorite superheroes in general. Not alone in Marvel, but in general. He's one of the greatest Evanism-related superheroes there is. And his ability to time travel and use the time gem. Oh, way. Fucking Doctor Strange is a badass. And when he gets introduced into the film, it's great to see him butt heads with Tony Stark. Finally, we get to see two of our favorite heroes interacting with each other. And of course, they don't get along. All right, because they're both alpha male types and they're butting heads. But it's fucking cinematic gold. Okay? Doctor Strange gets to be a badass in this movie. And I'm calling it right now. This is one of my predictions for Avengers 4. Is we are going to find out that there is another version of Doctor Strange who has the time stone still. He still has the time stone. And I think he's been hiding in the past so that he, with knowledge of the future, getting ready to beat Thanos in the fourth Avengers movie. I think Doctor Strange already time traveled back in time before he lost the gem to Thanos. He already time traveled back in time and got a bunch of people ready. And like I said before, I think he approached Loki. And he might have even approached Peter Parker. Because, in case you didn't hear, when Peter Parker shows up, Spider-Man shows up, Tony Stark says, "Kid, where did you come from?" And Spider-Man says, "The future." He says, "The future." Why the fuck would he say the future? Did he really come from the fucking future? That, you know, it's a possibility. It's a fucking possibility, y'all. That Spider-Man is time traveling around with Doctor Strange. And that maybe he swore an oath of secrecy to Doctor Strange that he wouldn't reveal that he knows about the future. You never know. We'll see. But I'm predicting that Doctor Strange has already done some time traveling and he knows about the future events. That amazing scene on Titan where Doctor Strange is going meditating and he sees 14 million different outcomes for the future where only one of them they succeed. Well, people are wondering, you know, he made a vow. Doctor Strange made a vow to protect the time stone. And he told Tony Stark, hey, if it comes down to saving your life or Spider-Man's life or protecting the time stone, I'm going to protect the time stone no matter what. That is his first priority. So he knew that giving the time stone to Thanos was the only outcome where they win. That Thanos needs to win for them to win against him. He has to win first. Doctor Strange knows this. Doctor Strange has already seen the end of Avengers 4. He knows how this shit ends. But now we're in the end game, as he so much said to Tony Stark. And before Doctor Strange disappears, he tells Tony Stark, this is the only way it had to go. I don't remember the exact quote, but he said, this had to happen this way. He said it, this had to happen this way. As he's fading away into nothingness, Doctor Strange tells Tony Stark, dude, this all had to happen for us to win. All right? So just wait until you see what's going to happen next movie. It's going to blow your mind. I'm telling you, Doctor Strange, there's another version of him, I'm telling you. Ooh, Tony Stark, the fucking main hero of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the one that started it all with the film Iron Man. You know, people say any movie Iron Man is in feels like an Iron Man movie. The Avengers 1, Avengers 2, Captain America Civil War, Spider-Man Homecoming, they all felt like Iron Man movies because Robert Downey Jr.'s performance is so commanding that he draws the attention. He just naturally is the star of the show because of the fact that he understands his characters so well. And obviously, the Russo brothers have redeemed themselves. A lot of Iron Man fans were disappointed about what stance Tony Stark took in Captain America Civil War. They thought it was uncharacteristic for him and they didn't agree with it. But the Russo brothers have redeemed themselves and they have redeemed Tony Stark in this movie. And he is one of the main characters. But even though this is an ensemble movie, every main character feels like the main character in one way or another. But it's very obvious that Tony Stark is going to play a big role in the next film. And hopefully we'll see if he survives or not. It would be a horrible day to see Iron Man die. This shit happens. If there's anything you can learn from Infinity War is shit happens. Right? But Iron Man's great. There's this touching scene of him and Pepper Potts where he talks about this prophetic dream about her being pregnant and them having a child. And he promises her that his days as an Avenger are over and no more surprises. And they have this touching kiss. And that's exactly when Doctor Strange shows up to fuck it all up for Tony Stark. So no wonder Tony Stark is a little pissed off at Doctor Strange. Okay, he blames him partially because he's the one that showed up and brought him into all this bullshit. But hey, maybe Tony Stark is the key to it all. You know what I mean? So Tony is great in this movie. His relationship with Peter Parker is amazing. And it's just, the Iron Man character is done justice in this film. And I'm all about it. I'm all about where the next movie's gonna go. Peter Parker! Spider-Man! Yes! The Russo brothers have done it again. I love how the Russo brothers portrayed Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War. And they did it again. Spider-Man is one of my favorite superheroes of all time because it's an Evanism superhero, one of the most Evanist superheroes ever. And this movie is a great Spider-Man movie. All right? If you are a fan of Spider-Man, you are going to love this movie. And this version of Spider-Man is great. Right? His constant referencing of movies and pop culture references and using things he's seen in movies to figure out how to solve problems in the real world is awesome. It's a great direction they've taken Spider-Man into. And I'm telling you now, it doesn't matter if everyone gets brought back from the dead in the next movie. Everyone is still going to remember Tom Holland's performance as Spider-Man in this movie. Tom Holland's performance as Spider-Man when he is dying and he is in Tony Stark's arms and he's saying, please, no, I'm not ready to die. I'm not ready. That performance is so touching. It will bring a tear to your eye. Even if Spider-Man comes back in the next movie, you're still gonna cry every time you see that fucking scene. It is that emotionally impactful. And it is brilliant how the people at Sony and Marvel, they created Spider-Man Homecoming as a way to set all of that up. The only reason that scene is as touching as it is because of what the groundwork that was laid in Spider-Man Homecoming. So, bravo to you, Tom Holland. You have done this fucking character justice, my friend. And the Iron Spider suit, I didn't know how I was going to like it, but it turns out to be pretty fucking badass. And I'm glad we finally have a unique looking Spider-Man suit that isn't appalling. So we had Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies and the awful, amazing Spider-Man movies. So we've seen the traditional suit a lot. So it's great that we finally see the Iron Spider suit on screen, adapted from the comics. And it's great, the 6 legs, the 6 spider legs that come out. Fucking awesome. Alright? Fucking amazing stuff. So bravo, Spider-Man. Great Spider-Man scenes in this movie. I approve. Ooh, Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw. So in the beginning of the movie, Ebony Maw shows up. And this is, other than Thanos, this is the greatest villain in this film. And quite possibly one of my favorite villains, other than Thanos, in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ebony Maw, one of the children of Thanos, is like a fucking Jedi. And he's throwing shit. All these objects get thrown, and, you know, he can... And he's a smart ass too, you know, he's always talking shit. This, you are about to die at the hands of the children of Thanos. Like, he's an evil motherfucker, and he's powerful too, and he's butt ugly. And in the European and North American versions of Infinity War, there's a line where Iron Man says, he calls Ebony Maw Squidward, and it got a lot of laughs. But in other overseas countries and territories, the line is actually, he calls him Voldemort instead of Squidward. And I think Voldemort is such a better line. There's one thing I could change about Infinity War, it would be that line. I wish Tony Stark fucking called him Voldemort in this movie. That would have been so funny. But of course, we see old Ebony Maw get sucked out of the fucking spaceship like aliens, and his character is killed. It would have been cool seeing him fight a little more, but damn, he got to show off. For the little bit of screen time that he was in the movie, he got to show off, and he made a big impact on me. To have that little bit of screen time and still walk away as one of my favorite villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe says a lot about this character. So, I think you would agree with me if you saw this movie. And this guy, Cull Obsidian, you know, he's your typical brute without a personality. He's just there to be a hulking behemoth of a bad guy. And he really pales in comparison to Ebony Maw and Thanos. This guy's just muscle, and you can tell, okay? And the whole movie, you're hoping that you're gonna get to see the Hulk fight this dude. But you never fucking get to see the Hulk fight this guy. Ever. Alrighty, it doesn't happen during the whole movie. So you get blue balls, just like the Hulk, who can't, you know, Bruce Banner getting blue balls because he can't Hulk out. We get blue balls not being able to see the Hulk and Cull Obsidian fight each other to the death. It would have been epic, but it doesn't happen. Expectations were subverted by the Russo brothers again. So this guy, one of the weaker points of the movie, wasn't really interesting, didn't really do anything for me, but you know, it was still passable. And then Thor, Holy shit, Thor is in this movie. And I think the Russo brothers have really struck a balance in tone between how Thor was initially presented in the MCU to how he was in Thor Ragnarok, where they learned to really bring out the absurd humor of him being a god from Asgard, you know, a mythological god, and how he just, there's natural comedy to be found there. And they really embraced that in Infinity War. But, you know, as funny as Thor can be in this movie, he really experiences a lot of loss, and he opens up about all the loss that he has experienced in the events of the preceding films. It's like, damn, yeah. Holy shit. And I guess Infinity War, a big moral of this film is dealing with loss, the inevitability of loss in your life, and how nothing is permanent in this world, and how, you know, how we all deal. It makes you fucking deal with death. It makes you deal with loss. Because at the end of this movie, so many of your favorite characters are killed. They're all dead. They're gone. Okay? And so it really forces you to face loss. But then it gives you Thor, the character of Thor, and as an example for how to deal with loss, because of how he deals with, he's lost everything. And look at how he still rises above. He lost his family. He lost his power of his hammer. He lost his eye. He lost it all. But he hasn't given up hope. As a matter of fact, he's only using it as motivation to succeed. And that is what we must have in our own lives. And especially after dealing with all of the loss in Avengers Infinity War. Because ultimately, a lot of what happens in Avengers Infinity War is we see these characters dealing with loss. How do they deal with loss? Okay? We see these characters deal with it, and Thor is the example that we must strive to attain in our own lives, dealing with loss. Okay? But Thor is great. We have this amazing scene where Thor comes back fully powered, and he's got his fucking new axe. He's got an axe that is even better than his hammer. And he shows up as the god of fucking thunder into Wakanda. I still have no idea how him and Rocket and Groot magically teleported to Wakanda without the gatekeeper's help or technology. But they did it. Apparently they have a way to do it. But Thor just shows up and fucks all the bad guys up. Oh, Thor shows up, he kicks ass, he takes names. In this movie, we finally get to see Thor strut his stuff. Alright? And I can't wait to see what happens next. And I'm a little upset that they gave Thor his eyeball back. Like they gave him a new eyeball. Rocket gives him an eyeball. I was kind of digging Thor having an eye patch. It was kind of an homage to his father, Odin. I thought it was cool. But hey, whatever. It was a cute scene with Rocket giving him the eyeball. So I'll give it a pass for now. But good work, Chris Hemsworth. You really have struck a balance between humor and sincerity and drama. You did a great job. Gamora! No, I've heard no one admit the elephant in the fucking room, which is, if there is any main character of Avengers Infinity War other than Thanos, it is Gamora. This movie is all about Gamora, right? She is the main character. She is such an important part and a motivating factor in all the events of this movie. Okay, from her connection to Thanos, it's all been building up to this moment. And which reminds me that Infinity War feels like a fucking Guardians of the Galaxy movie. As a matter of fact, I would say the Guardians of the Galaxy dominate Avengers Infinity War. I would say that it is, if it was split 50-50 between the Guardians of the Galaxy and the other Avengers, it would really be split like 60-40, with 60% of the movie revolving around the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm fine with that. Give me more Guardians of the fucking Galaxy. Yes. But it doesn't over-dominate. There's still representation there for the Avengers, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange. They're still represented. But we still don't know all of the details about Gamora's relationship with Thanos. As Thanos says in the movie, "You once fought along my side. You once strove for the same goals I do. No, you are my daughter." So there's a distinct possibility that Thanos might be sitting there after winning it all, after achieving his goal, and he might second guess what he did. All because of Gamora, his daughter, whom he really loves. Okay? Thanos winning could be the only thing. Maybe he had to win to realize himself that him winning, he really didn't win. That he lost. That it wasn't worth it to lose Gamora just to gain, to do what he did. To gain what he needed to gain, to do what he did. I seriously think Thanos, I think he might give up. I don't know if he'll give up, but I seriously think he is going to think about time traveling back in time to before any of this started, so that we might even see a scene where Thanos fights himself. He might go back in time to when Gamora was just a kid and kill himself so that he can take himself's place in the past with the gauntlet. We might see a scene between Thanos and young Gamora in the past when Gamora was just a little girl, and he tells her, "You have to use your mind to get what you want." He could say, "I can get the Infinity Gauntlet. The power I need, I can get that right now. All I have to do is use my mind and promise that I'm going to do it no matter what." And then 2 seconds later, Thanos from the future can time travel back to that exact moment. And he's got the Infinity Gauntlet with all the stones. And then the Thanos of the past can go, "See, Gamora? Now I have the gauntlet. All I had to do was use my mind." And then Thanos from the future could go, "No, you don't have the gauntlet yet." And then boom, Thanos versus Thanos. And then the Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet wins and kills the old Thanos. Boom, takes his place. Also, he could be back with Gamora, reunited. We'll see, because I don't think Thanos is just gonna give up the Infinity Stones. I don't think he's gonna give up his power, but I do think he's gonna realize that he fucked up. And a big reason of why he realizes this is Gamora. All right? And the themes of this movie, the dilemmas of this movie, are repeated and echoed throughout this movie. Very early on, Gamora tells Peter Quill, Star-Lord, please, if Thanos captures me, promise me you will kill me if you have a chance to kill me. So the fate of the universe depends on him killing the one he loves. And there's this scene where Peter Quill decides to pull the trigger. Thanos has a hold of Gamora. Peter Quill is about to pull the trigger and kill Gamora, and bubbles come out instead. But he was going to do it. So he kept his word to her. At least he kept his word to her. And he impressed Thanos, apparently, who wants a good boyfriend for his daughter, as any father would. But yeah, so they also do that with Scarlet Witch and Vision. They echo this struggle of having to kill the one you love. That struggle gets echoed again later in the movie with Vision and Scarlet Witch. But Gamora is the fucking main character of this movie, dude. Thanos is her dad, all right? And, you know, it's cool. I hope Gamora comes back. There's no way she's not gonna come back, all right? Thanos is not gonna let her die, dude. It's not gonna happen. He loves her too much. And we love her too much to let her go. Zoe Saldana, please. I hope you've signed some contracts to be in the next movies. We want you back. Gamora is the best. Speaking of the best, holy shit, Star-Lord. You know, the two people that steal this movie, a lot of people steal the movie. All right? Everyone in this movie steals the movie at one point or another. But Doctor Strange really steals the movie, and so does Star-Lord. Star-Lord steals the movie. Star-Lord is fucking hilarious in this movie. And a lot of people are going, oh, Star-Lord fucked it up. It's his fault that everyone died. They were about to beat Thanos, and then he fucked it up. It's like, no, dude. Doctor Strange looked into the fucking future over 14 million times. And only one time did they succeed in defeating Thanos in the end. And that one time is also the one time where Star-Lord fucks everything up by punching Thanos in the face after he finds out that the love of his life, Gamora, has been killed by Thanos. If he wouldn't have done what he did, no, Thanos would win. Okay? That's how important it is. If he wouldn't have done that, the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy and everybody else, they wouldn't be able to defeat Thanos in the fourth movie, in the next movie. So give Star-Lord a break. Yeah, it's foolish what he did, but that's his character. He doesn't think before he acts when his emotions, that is his whole downfall, is that he is an emotional reactor. He reacts instinctively based on emotion. So if you find a way to push his buttons, he is going to act without thinking first. If you don't push his buttons, he's really good at coming up with a plan and sticking to that plan and being logical. But the second you push his buttons and get him emotional, he acts out of emotion. And we've seen that in all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. And we've seen it in this movie. So Star-Lord is great. I can't wait to see what happens in the next movie. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe the people that disappeared when Thanos snapped his fingers didn't really die. Maybe they went inside the soul gem. Maybe they're actually housed and trapped inside a realm within the soul gem, and they can talk to each other inside of that realm. So maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm really hoping that the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to play a big part in the next movie, because Rocket Raccoon is the only one that survives. He's the only Guardian of the Galaxy that survives by the end of the movie. And he's great. I love Rocket, but I want to see Gamora. I want to see Star-Lord. I want to see Drax. I even want to see Groot. I want to see them all in the next movie. And not just the ending. I don't want them to just be brought back at the end. I want to fucking see them back. I want to see them in this movie, the next movie. Rocket Raccoon. The rabbit. The rabbit. Sweet rabbit. Good old Rocket. Rocket is back. And it's like the first two Guardians of the Galaxy movies set up all the gags in this movie. All the gags were set up perfectly. Every joke, every reoccurring joke about Rocket Raccoon trying to get people's prosthetics from them, their prosthetic augmentations. He has a fetish for collecting people's fucking prosthetic limbs. It's paid off in this movie yet again, multiple times, in hilarious ways. He gives Thor a fucking eyeball he stole from someone. He tells the Winter Soldier that he's gonna take his fucking arm someday. He says, I'll get that arm. When he sees Bucky's new fucking vibranium arm from Wakanda. So obviously, Rocket, our captain, the captain of the Guardians of the Galaxy, he's obviously coming back in the next movie. If they kill off Rocket, we will riot. We will riot. But Rocket was great in this movie. You know, there's so many people I love in Infinity War. There's so many characters that I love that I forgot about Rocket Raccoon going into this movie. Like, I was more concerned with what's going to happen with Iron Man and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Like, those were the characters I really care about seeing. And then Rocket Raccoon just came back like, whoa, shit, that's right, Rocket's awesome, and he's in this movie. Great job yet again. And Groot. Groot does not get to do a lot in this movie unless you count him sacrificing his own fucking hand to become the handle for Thor's new fucking axe. It's called Stormbreaker. Holy shit. Talk about something epic. You know, does that mean that Groot was worthy? No one could lift Thor's hammer unless they were worthy. Okay? No one can wield Thor's hammer unless they were worthy. So does that make Groot worthy? That he was able to pick up the blade of this new axe with his hand and actually turn his hand into the fucking handle of this axe? Brilliant. I really hope Groot can come back, because I want to see him fully grown again. You know, I love baby Groot. He was pretty cute. Teenage Groot is pretty funny. Come on, just bring back full-size Groot. I want to hear that deep voice say, I am Groot. Drax. Holy shit. Dave Bautista has knocked this character out of the park. Out of the park, y'all. Drax is such, you know, he's probably the funniest character in the movie with the shit he does and says. He's an amazing character, but he's played a little bit too much for comedy in this movie. If you remember Guardians of the Galaxy 1, you know that Thanos fucked Drax over and killed his family. And Drax has vowed to destroy Thanos. He wants to kill Thanos the most. okay? And so, unfortunately, we didn't see much of that in this movie. We didn't get to, see Drax's serious side, the fact that he hates Thanos because of what happened to his family. So I'm hoping Drax gets brought back so that he can be one of the many heroes that delivers the finishing blow to Thanos, because he deserves it. If anybody deserves to kill Thanos, it's Thor, Drax, and Nebula. Thor, Drax, and Nebula. Those are the three characters that really, honestly, have the right to kill Thanos, because those are the three that want to kill him the most, because those are the three that have been wronged the most by Thanos. But Drax is great. Fuck, I love Drax. I love Dave Bautista as Drax way more than I ever loved him as a wrestler. And so I'm glad that he's doing movies now. He's finally found his calling. Long live Drax. Long live Dave Bautista as Drax. Can't wait to see you come back. Like I said, I hope he gets to be part of the finishing blow that stops Thanos. Mantis. Holy shit, Mantis. What a great character. People wondered, oh, why is Mantis turned into this member of the Guardians of the Galaxy all of a sudden? Because she's such an important character. Yeah, sure, she doesn't have the power to fucking melt people with her mind or anything like that. But she can put people to sleep. She can put people to sleep. And it came in handy when they tried to take the gauntlet off of Thanos in Infinity War. I fucking love Mantis's character. I wish we would have seen more interaction between her and Drax, rather. The relationship between Mantis and Drax was a big highlight of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So I was a little disappointed that we didn't get to see any more of that in this film. But, whatever. We still get to see Mantis play a big role in this movie, and I love that. I love it. Ooh, Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a big fan of Scarlet Witch. Not a big fan of her character. It's cool. She's a really overpowered character. But I think her and Quicksilver were handled poorly in Age of Ultron. And, she gained a little more credibility in Civil War. And now in this movie, yes. But I just didn't feel really invested in her relationship with Vision. I wasn't attached to either of these characters, And they're both overpowered as fuck. And we really don't get to see them wield their powers. Well, we get to see Scarlet Witch wield her powers. But, it's just not my favorite character portrayed in the MCU. How she is portrayed in the MCU. But we'll see. Maybe she'll grow on me in the next movie. I don't know why I wasn't invested. They didn't give it enough build-up for me. This relationship between her and Vision. So it's asking a lot of the audience to suddenly give a crap about them. But, she plays an interesting part in this movie in the fact that she has what it takes to destroy one of the Infinity Stones and potentially stop Thanos. So we'll see if her character comes back in the next movie. We'll see where she goes from here. Vision. Vision is a great character who was gimped in this movie. Vision is a badass, okay? He's one of the most powerful of the Avengers. And that is not reflected in this movie at all. Right off the bat, Vision is gimped. He's stabbed with a weapon that is like a computer virus that takes away all his powers and slowly kills him. And so we don't get to see Vision kick ass like we all know Vision can. All right? We get more screen time of him kissing Scarlet Witch than we get screen time of him really kicking ass. So, with such a capable character of kicking ass, it's sad to not see him be able to show off his stuff in this movie. Hopefully he will return. You know, there is a possibility that Shuri uploaded Vision's consciousness into a computer before all hell broke loose in Wakanda, in the Wakandan lab. So we'll see. It would be great to see Vision return. It would be cool. It'd suck to lose that character. Corvus Glaive, the one who gimps Vision by stabbing him with that tainted weapon. A decent character. All of his character is in the way he looks. We don't really get to know much about this character as a bad guy, and he's not that interesting. The most interesting thing about this bad guy right here is that he looks kind of like how I would want the Hobgoblin or the Green Goblin to look. His face and everything about him looks like how I would want to see the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of the Green Goblin or the Hobgoblin look. All right. Other than that, pretty forgettable enemy. Not that exciting, but he's got a cool look only because it evokes the sensation of seeing the Green Goblin or Hobgoblin from Spider-Man done right. And Proxima Midnight, again, not a very compelling villain at all. Ebony Maw really stole the show. And sure, there's a great moment where Proxima Midnight is in Wakanda and she's about to kill Scarlet Witch. And all of a sudden, Black Widow and what's her name from Black Panther show up to defend her. And a little fight ensues. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good little scene, a nice little moment. But I wish I could have gotten to know this character. If she is one of the daughters of Thanos, alongside Nebula and Gamora, then it seems like we're almost cheated by not getting to know about her backstory and her relationship to those girls and her relationship to her father Thanos. So they could have done better with this character, but you can only do so much in 2 hours and 40 minutes when you have all of these characters. Captain America. I'm going to be honest. I am not a fan of Captain America at all. I'm not a fan of the Captain America character. He just does not float my boat whatsoever. And I'm not a big fan of the Captain America movies. Right? They're decent movies. Captain America 1 is pretty decent. Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier, is pretty decent. Captain America Civil War, pretty decent movies. Great movies. I love Captain America Civil War, actually. But Captain America is not my favorite part of that movie. But if anything made me like his character more, it was that movie. But I'm just not the biggest Captain America fan, so I was not disappointed to find out that Captain America is barely in Avengers Infinity War. He has like 5 lines, and there's no character development with his character. He's just kind of there. He's just kind of there because he's supposed to be. It's like he's contractually obligated to be in this movie, but he really doesn't do anything as a leader. He used to be one of the leaders of the Avengers, and now it's kind of seems like he's taking a back seat. He stepped back a little bit, and we don't get to... This movie isn't about Captain America. It's just not. All right? So it didn't bother me that he is not showcased in this movie a lot. But I do think it would have been better if his shield from Wakanda would have been shaped like his shield, the circle, the saucer shield. Because, hey, we love Captain America because of his iconic shield. His shield is so iconic how he can throw it around and knock it into people and fucking bounce it back like a boomerang. Deflect bullets, deflect all this shit. That shield is the shield we want to see, not this new shield he's got. But whatever, he looks cool in this movie. Hopefully, the Russo brothers will do something really special with Captain America in the next movie. Maybe even give him a heroic death that makes me actually respect the character more. Maybe I will become more of a Captain America fan after the next Avengers movie. We will see. Hopefully, it will be good. Black Widow, not in this movie enough. The fact that there was a romance between Black Widow and Bruce Banner, the Hulk, and that romance wasn't even touched on in this film was very disappointing to me. But I love seeing Black Widow kick ass and take names. And that's exactly what she did in the brief time she was in this movie. So hey, hopefully Scarlett Johansson will have a bigger role, and maybe we will get that Black Widow solo film in the future. Maybe Marvel will finally bite the bullet and make a Black Widow movie. Falcon. I don't even think he has one line in this movie, but he does get a lot of screen time, and it's good to see him back. He's one of the best Captain America related superheroes. So hopefully, we'll see if he returns in the next film. Speaking of that, we had War Machine, and War Machine got to stand in for Tony Stark in the battle at Wakanda, the invasion of Wakanda. We had War Machine kicking ass and taking names on the front lines. And he is even ordered by General Ross to arrest the Avengers when they show up. But of course, he does not do that. And Black Panther, what the fuck, man? They killed off Black Panther. Couldn't believe it. Now, I'll tell you right now, I've only seen Black Panther once, but I was underwhelmed by that movie. All right? I don't think they did the character of Black Panther justice in the movie Black Panther. He is a really complex character and a cool character, and I don't think he's gotten enough character development in his films, and he didn't get enough of it here either. I mean, he's just basically there going, I am the king of Wakanda, blah, 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 blah. We don't really get to see him shine in this movie, and I'm hoping that in the next film, Black Panther will return and shine a little brighter. And maybe in Black Panther 2, we will finally see the struggle that T'Challa is facing as the new king of Wakanda. Like, I want to see him actually face these moral dilemmas and have to make tough decisions as a king. Because it's not so easy as a king when faced with two difficult decisions to pick the right one. I want to see this character challenged, and I want to see him shine because he is a good character. So I was a bit disappointed that he kind of takes a back seat in this movie. We don't get to see Black Panther really have a standout moment in this movie. That's disappointing. That's disappointing. He's kind of just there for window dressing, which is unfortunate. Bucky. Bucky's the White Wolf, they call him, in Wakanda. He's back. He's got a fucking vibranium arm, and he's ready to kick ass and take names. And it was great seeing him team up with Rocket Raccoon, of all people. Who thought they would ever see that? Holy shit. But yes indeed, we've got the Winter Soldier in this movie. He doesn't get to do much, You know, he really doesn't. He gets a little bit of screen time, but he doesn't get much character development. So hopefully he'll be back in the future, hopefully. Let's hope. Nebula. Nebula is back in this movie. And she obviously wants to kill her dad, Thanos. Doubly so now that Gamora is dead. So it's going to be interesting to see how Nebula and Tony Stark are going to get off of Titan together, because they are both stranded on the planet Titan now. So it'll be interesting to see how they transition into the next film. But Nebula obviously is the reason why Gamora told Thanos where the Soul Stone was hidden. So, you know, fucking A. The love of two sisters, huh? It's all good. The situation will be redeemed in the next movie. I am having my fingers crossed. And last but fucking not least at all, Thanos. Thanos. One of the main reasons why this movie succeeded at all. At all. Because it has the missing ingredient from all the other Marvel movies. And that is a respectable, fucking amazing villain. We have in Thanos one of the greatest villains in cinematic history. We haven't seen a villain this important and this successful since Darth Vader in this original Star Wars trilogy. Okay? When people look back and think of the greatest cinematic villains of all time, Thanos will be on that list. And it's not that because you empathize with him, but it's because he has a range to his character. He has complexity to his character. His real motivations are unclear at best. Okay? And hopefully we will see what his true motivating factors are in the next film. Because something tells me that there's something about Thanos that we have no idea yet. Okay? But this is a villain. A villain who is evil. He is evil enough to eradicate half of everyone in existence with the snap of his fingers. He's willing to do that. But he is also unable to stop himself from shedding a tear, shedding tears when faced with the loss of his daughter Gamora. That this ultimate evil badass has an emotional core to where he is able to cry and shed tears, which I think is a very poignant moment in this movie. And yes, finally, a movie where the villain wins, the bad guy wins. I mean, I'm sure it's been done a few times here and there before, rather famously. But this is a movie where the villain really wins big time. Or at least that's what you think, until you see the next movie. Alright? Because believe me, Thanos, he has the Infinity Gauntlet. He's got all the stones. He's eliminated half of the entire population of existence. And yet, there he is. Sitting there, basking in his achievement. But something tells me he is not going to be a happy camper. Something tells me that he is not going to be satisfied with the results of what happened. And something tells me he is going to do something to change those results, however he can. So I honestly do think there's a big possibility that Thanos is going to be the one to rewind time to try to change the outcome of events because I think he is going to regret what he did. All right, I think he is going to come to the realization that he fucked up and did the wrong thing. So it's no guarantee that that's going to happen, but I hope the complexity of this character is only increased with the next film. They did such a beautiful job handling Thanos and translating him to this film. I would say it is arguable that this movie is the best version of Thanos ever attempted. That the Thanos in Avengers Infinity War transcends the very comic books that inspired it. That this interpretation, this version of Thanos in this film is the definitive Thanos. Okay? That is how amazing this performance by Josh Brolin really is. Okay? Never once watching this movie did I go, wow, I'm looking at a computer-generated character here. It never crossed my mind. I think it is the first movie I've ever watched where the fact that I'm looking at a computer-generated character never crossed my mind once. And that is all because of the amazing performance by Josh Brolin. His entire performance, whether it be his motion capture or the way he delivers his lines, this character is brought to life expertly in a team effort by Josh Brolin and the Russo brothers and everyone else. Thanos is one of the reasons why this movie succeeds, okay? And why Infinity War and the sequel, the next movie, are going to be the definitive chapters in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. It will be nearly impossible to top what has been achieved. We have achieved a landmark. Okay? Not only is this film the culmination of 19 previous films, but it is the beginning of everything that comes after this. So it is a juncture point, and never before has a movie been set up with 18 movies, 19 movies before it, 18 movies, okay, have set up of Infinity War. And now it's 19 movies that have set up the events of the next film. So what is going to happen in Avengers 4? What is it going to be called? Like I said, I really hope that there's another, that Doctor Strange used the Time Stone to go back in time so that there's another version of Doctor Strange in the past, still alive, still having the Time Stone. And because if you think about it, using the Time Stone, you can end up with more than one Time Stone. So in the comic books, it is Adam Warlock who gets the Infinity Gauntlet away from Thanos and actually wields it himself to set everything back after Thanos destroyed everything. And I'm thinking maybe they're going to do something similar in the next movie, but not with Adam Warlock, but rather with the Captain Marvel character. And I think Captain Marvel is going to be a big part of the next movie. So yes, you're going to have to see Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel, because that's another character, Ant-Man. I'm almost guaranteeing you that Ant-Man is going to play a pivotal role in saving the world and stopping Thanos in the next movie. Yes, Ant-Man, he has to return. I really missed Ant-Man. He's one of my favorite characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So his absence here was, you know, it sucks that he's not in it, but I'm glad kind of that they're saving him for the next movie, because there's so much. Avengers Infinity War is perfect. I can't say it should have had Ant-Man. I can't say that, because it's perfect the way it is, and there's a reason Ant-Man is being saved for the next movie. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We'll see. We've speculated a little bit about it. So, what's the meaning of the story? What is the hidden Evanism, Illuminati symbolism in this film? There's so much of it. There's so many morals to this story. And that's what makes it such a great film, because the best superhero movies are the ones that teach a morality lesson, that teach a good lesson, okay? And not a lot of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies have done that yet until this movie. This movie really does push a message of morality, a message. It has a moral to this story. Because it's true, there are evil people in existence that they've created the Georgia Guidestones that say that the entire population of Earth needs to be reduced to 500,000 people, I believe it says, or 500. I don't remember how many it said, but it's a really low number, okay? And that it should be kept at a perpetual number of people. And this monument is protected and left to stand. So there are evil aliens in existence. Aliens who feel it is their duty to go planet by planet and reduce the populations there drastically, because they believe in their hearts they're doing the right thing by culling the herd of life. So these exterminators go planet by planet, taking over these planets and killing off millions and billions of people to control the population. So what Thanos does, what Thanos wants to do in Avengers Infinity War, by killing off half of everyone in existence for population control reasons, there are actual people and aliens trying to do that to us right now, that are doing it to us right now. That every genocide in history is secretly being done by these aliens. These evil aliens. Okay? But it does not stop there. There is more Illuminati Evanism symbolism. Because what does Thanos do at the end of the movie when he snaps his fingers is essentially the rapture. That is the rapture. People believe in the rapture, that Jesus Christ is going to snap his fingers one day and magically everyone who believed in him is just going to disappear and go to heaven. Well, I hate to break it to you people that believe in that, but that means you all die, that Jesus is just going to snap his fingers and you all disappear and go to the afterlife. That's what the rapture is. The rapture is fucking what Thanos is doing in this movie. Okay? And there's all kinds of Evanism symbolism that with the time travel and the technological angle and the everything with the Doctor Strange. There's so much symbolism in this movie. Okay? And that is what makes this, everything about this movie is what makes it such an amazing, amazing film. So I hope you have enjoyed Avengers Infinity War. I hope you've enjoyed this in-depth review and discussion about this film. So stay tuned to this channel. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new, because as soon as they release the trailer, the very first trailer for the next Avengers movie, I will be doing a live trailer reaction, an in-depth trailer reaction and breakdown live when that day comes. So yes, 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 true believers, Excelsior. Yes. Oh yeah, and there's a Stan Lee cameo. Holy fuck, Stan Lee's in this movie, man. You act like you never seen a spaceship before. Ah! Avengers! Infinity War is here. Go see it again. Go see this movie as many times as you can. When a movie like this comes along, you have to vote with your wallet that you want to see more movies like this. So go out there and see it again, and you will not be disappointed. I saw this movie twice so far. I wanted to see it again so I could bring you an accurate review of this film. Because, you know, some movies, you see them once and they're great, but then you see them a second time and they don't hold up on repeat viewings. But Infinity War holds up upon repeat viewings. It holds up, and that is what is amazing. That you can watch this movie over and over again and be entertained from start to finish and go on the same emotional roller coaster you went on the first time you saw it. The same scenes that brought a tear to your eye the first time you saw Infinity War are going to continue to bring tears to your eyes upon repeat viewings. This movie has an emotional core that will resonate with viewers long into the future, long after the sequel has already come out. Even after the next Avengers comes out, this will still be a celebrated film. People look at The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi as two of the definitive chapters in the entire Star Wars saga. And I hope that Infinity War and the next movie that takes place after this, the sequel to Infinity War, I hope it surpasses what Empire and Return of the Jedi did. I hope it does something even bigger, and it has set everything up that it needs to succeed in doing so. Avengers Infinity War is one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. One of the greatest movies of all time, and that is why I have sat here for over an hour and a half to bring you this in-depth review of this movie, character by character. So I hope you have enjoyed this experience, and I cannot wait to watch the trailer for the next Avengers movie that comes after this one live with all of you. So make sure to click that little bell icon and you'll be notified when I go live. This is Evan Lefavor, your friend forever. And it is time for me to go. Until next time, remember, this world needs heroes. So next time you are given the opportunity to do the right thing or do the wrong thing, I want you to ask yourself, what would an Avenger do? Yes, what would an Avenger do? Until then, bye-bye. 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 Thank you, Marvel. You have done an amazing job. This is Evan Lefavor, signing out. I cannot wait to see how the Infinity War is going to conclude. So stay tuned, because we'll find out in the future. Until then, bye-bye.